Welcome to Train Hot Dog, the podcast where I talk to myself on a train. This week we're going to be investigating whether any amount of vaginal yeast is bad, or whether a yeast infection is only when there gets to be too much yeast or too much bad yeast. But first, rider mail. Let's pull up the rider mail. Taking its time. Okay. This rider mail is from the 216 area code. Oh, that's Tunisia. This rider says, Stardate 1982, just a little joke. Research proceeds as planned on the chronotemporal flux fusion engine. We were encouraged when a rice cake appeared in the machine's primary servo dock, informing us that several minutes later we would succeed in transporting a rice cake backwards in time. This is a step forward, as we have previously only been able to transport inorganic matter. Dwayne and I celebrated with drinks and a viewing of Blade Runner. Rutger Hauer's final speech is brilliant, especially 5 drinks in. Tomorrow we plan to attempt to transport a living insect, our first test of a live specimen. Wish us luck. Well, good luck, Ryder. I hope your invention worked out well for you in the long ago past of 1982. So, with that, let's get right into it. How much yeast is bad? Nutritional yeast, the good and the bad, and what you need too much yeast bad, the fresh loaf. Is eating yeast bad for you? Livestrong.com. Weird myths and real truth about nutritional yeast. Is too much yeast-based food a bad thing? The Naked Science Forum. Yeast, the hidden cause of your exhaustion. Why is it bad to pitch too much yeast? Homebrew Stack Exchange. Baking, does active dry yeast really expire? Can too much yeast be bad? Okay, I clearly need to add qualifying words in here. Vaginal yeast infection, womenshealth.gov. Most women will get a yeast infection at some point in their life. Symptoms of vaginal yeast infections include burning, itching, and thick white discharge. Yeast infections are easy to treat, but it's important to see your doctor or nurse if you think you have an infection. Yeast infection symptoms are similar to other vaginal infections and sexually transmitted infections, STIs. If you have a more serious, this is not helpful. Causes, symptoms, and diagnosis. Bacterial infections, causes, symptoms, yeast infection versus bacterial vaginosis. Yeast infection symptoms. This is not what I asked at all. Vaginal yeast treatment for vaginal yeast infection in children, treatment for vaginal yeast infection during pregnancy, treatment for vaginal yeast infection while breastfeeding, over-the-counter treatment for bad vaginal discharge, yeast infection, how you get it. Vaginal discharge, 18. Causes, treatments, colors. Alright, let's see some of these colors. I hope they give me hex codes. Vaginal yeast infection is a common female condition caused by fungus Candida. Symptoms include intense itching, swelling, irritation. Vulva vaginitis is a common infection of the vulva and vagina. Symptoms may include itching, discomfort while urinating, or increased vaginal discharge. Brought to you by Amazon. Is it a yeast infection? Purchase treatment and get relief now. Postmenopausal atrophic vagin. Okay, this is not chlamydia. Pelvic inflammatory disease. It's just generally in the pelvis. Inflammation of the cervix. Gonorrhea. Pregnancy. That's another big pelvic issue people have. Anxiety. What is anxiety? Anxiety often manifests itself as an apprehension about daily life. Learn the basics with this overview of the types of anxiety disorders.
Doors are closing, please stand clear of the doors.
Is a small of vaginal yeast normal? Vaginal discharge. No difference between normal There's normally a small amount of yeast present in the vagina. A yeast infection occurs when there's an overabundance of yeast, often caused by a pH balance in the vagina. Yeast infections are not usually sexually transmitted. Okay. According to mckinley.illinois.edu, where was the passage again? Oh man. There is normally a small amount of yeast, Candida albicans, present. All right, now we know. Some factors that may increase susceptibility to yeast infections: increased stress, use of oral contraceptives, diabetes, pregnancy, signs and symptoms. All right, since Yahoo Answers isn't coming up, and that's where all the good stuff always is, I'm just going to add it to the search, because that's where the good stuff is. So I have a lot of vaginal discharge. I'm 13 and started my period a little over 6 months ago. Before I had my period, I also had vaginal discharge, but I've read that that's normal. But now I have a period and I get discharged every day. Some days it's a lot. It's a whitish, yellowish, gooey, thick liquid. No, it doesn't really smell. Very rarely it does. Glands inside your vagina and cervix make small amounts of fluid. This fluid flows out into the vagina each day, carrying out old cells that have lined the vagina. That is your body's way of keeping your vagina healthy and clean. The discharge is usually clear or milky and doesn't smell bad. The color and thickness of the discharge change with your monthly cycle. The discharge this answer is way too good. That's Pretzi Pie 7 years ago. Probably normal. If you have concerns, visit your doctor. Vaginal discharge, girls only, please. Well, the other night I was just sitting at home, and I have vaginal discharge for about a year, but all of a sudden I felt something, and I went to the bathroom and checked that it was a huge glob of vaginal discharge, like the size of a nickel. It was clear it didn't have a strong odor, but I just wanted to know if this means anything. Top portable air conditioners for 2015. Looking for Fresca, Derwit, Swanstone, and more top brand bathroom vanities for cheap? NextTag can help. Many fantastic designs. Sponsored NextTag. Best answer: if it was clear, that probably means you're ovulating. This means your period is on its way. It's also your most fertile time, so if you're sexually active, make sure you use contraception. If the discharge bothers you, then you can always wear a panty liner and change it a couple times a day. Thanks a lot. That really helps, says the asker. I'm a boy, but I know these things, says JP 6 years ago. Glands inside your vagina and cervix make a small amount of fluid. This fluid flows out the vagina every day, carrying the old cells that have lined the vagina. This is your body's way of keeping your vagina healthy and clean. The discharge is usually clear, milky, and doesn't smell bad, but if the fluid begins to burn, then that means there is a problem. Until then, you're good, but I wouldn't worry if I was you. Wow, so I'm glad JP has been getting good sex education. He's got a good parent or school system. Foamy vaginal discharge, Yahoo Answers 52. This is a YouTube video. I don't think does this YouTube video have a link to the non-YouTube video? Because I want to not. Okay, someone posted this under comedy. This is like what I'm doing, so I guess I can't complain about that too much. Chronic vaginal infections, discussion on topics. Refresh Reno Women's Health News. Herpes or yeast infections, steadyhealth.com. 10 common Candida yeast overgrowth questions. "15 vagina facts that you need to know," Cosmopolitan. Okay, if I need to know these, I'm going to read these. Thanks, Cosmo. Alright, can sex stretch it out? Is it supposed to have an order? Why does it feel so freaking good when it's touched and stretched? Has all the answers, plus secrets to staying in top shape down there. Here's an ad for... It has more nicknames than for any other female body part. Its own doctor, and the ability to bring you tons of pleasure, not to mention pain, because you plan to have a baby. Okay. It's just one part of your down there region. Vaginas generally look alike. The surrounding area often can be different colors. Its walls are pleated. Usually the walls of the vagina lie compressed against each other, but when they need to open, To accommodate a tampon or penis, the sides separate, widen, kind of like an umbrella or a pleated skirt unfolds, the way an umbrella or pleated skirt unfolds. The vagina typically swells a half-inch wide to 2 inches wide, and it can get even bigger. After all, a baby might have to pass through it. Relax, a well-hung guy won't stretch it out, nor will it re-virginize if you go through a long dry spell. It benefits from regular exercise. It's teeming with bacteria. Don't get grossed out. They're the kind that keep bad microorganisms in check so you don't get an infection. One of the good bacteria is lactobacilli, also found in yogurt. In fact, some gynos say you can help cure yeast infection by inserting a tablespoon of plain yogurt. Okay, this is like, we're not, some gynecologists say this, we're not telling you to do it, but totally do it. Totally just stick yogurt in there, it'll probably work, right? And if not, don't come to us complaining, because we are not doctors. It's self-cleaning. The hair around it isn't necessary. Back in caveman times, pubes shielded the vagina from bacteria and trapped odor to attract men. Today, we have clothes to protect us. As for attracting a guy with a hairy crotch, the opposite may be true. Some guys are turned on by seeing a woman's bare V. Wow. The smell gets stronger during your cycle. Getting it on does it good. But too much sex and throw it out of whack. Discharge changes throughout your cycle. Things can't get lost up there. It's impossible for anything like a tampon to escape into your uterus. The cervix blocks off access. But a tampon can slip out of reach. If one does, fishing it out while squatting and bearing down. If that doesn't work, make an appointment with your gyno, who will pluck out the tampon quickly and painlessly. Because of the way the word gyno is spelled, like, I actually want to pronounce it Hino, like a hero. Hino.
West Oakland went on the same side of the left for the Pittsburgh Bay 1 train.
No, steer clear of putting food, even chocolate syrup or whipped cream up there. The sugar can lead to an infection. These are like, okay, now they have like, they're talking about, these are not the 15 facts that you need to know, but they're talking about vaginal rejuvenation, the G-shot, hymen repair. This is not things I definitely need to know anymore, and they don't claim it that it is because they only said 15 items.
West Oakland to say Dublin Pleasanton train. Doors are closing, please stand clear of the doors.
Topic overview, WebMD. Yeast infection no more, Yahoo Answers. Wait, no more Yahoo Answers? Is that what this says? Oh, this is just like, this is one of those spam sites. Oh yeah. Confirm navigation. Are you sure you want to go elsewhere? Do you want to get rid of your Candida or not? If you're ready to see the one thing that works, just click the cancel button below. Click the cancel button to see the one thing. Or show me the one thing. Oh, I guess I didn't click the cancel button. Or I have to do this again. Stay on this page. See the one thing. Okay. 140,000 women in 137 countries worldwide already used Linda Allen's yeast infection no more trademark system to get rid of their Candida yeast infections permanently. Okay, this page does not allow zooming, so I need to scroll to read any text at all. This is a really, this seems like it needs an infomercial, because, like, oh my god, all these things that the Linda Allen's yeast infection no more will cure: arthritis, chronic rashes, irritability, digestive pain, hand pain, hyponic of energy, constipation, respiratory infections, bloating or IBS, skin lesions, hypoglycemia, food allergies, male yeast infection, unexplainable feeling of not being yourself. Yeah, I'm sure this will, oh yeah. The results were almost instantaneous. In less than 7 hours, I felt a tremendous relief. 2 weeks later, I became completely free of the unbearable vaginal itching, burning, swelling, and discharge. And using our methods, I have kept my chronic yeast infection at bay ever since. Oh man, that sounds like it's important that everybody get this item. So what I'm curious about is why the text Yahoo Answers is on that page. Like, I can't see it anywhere because it doesn't allow zooming, and oh, this page does allow zooming. Okay. Oh, that's the testimonial I just read. My throat and mouth pain have disappeared. I have no more migraines or allergies, and my sleep is greatly improved. Tell me about Yahoo Answers. As little as 12 hours guaranteed. Only $39.97. Add to cart. They take PayPal, but they don't explain why they mention Yahoo Answers. Oh man, when the pop-up that comes up when you hit the back button is so infuriating. Do you want to get rid of your candida or not? If you're ready to see the one thing that works, press the cancel button. Oh yeah. Yeast infection miracle cure. Baby Center. I'm going to preface this by saying, I know this is weird, but I think it could help some people, so I'm posting it anyway. I don't know about everyone else, but I always get yeast infections when I am pregnant, and those creams that treat them are miserable. I was reading online, and I found you can use a clove of garlic inserted into your vagina to treat a yeast infection. All these sentences end in a question mark and a diamond, by the way, so they just look like questions. So far, I've done this 3 times and it's worked like a miracle every time. Way better than any cream. Your husband will look at you like you're crazy, but it's worth it to safely cure a yeast infection in the matter of a couple of hours. Sally. Bluebear21 says, really? Wow, I'd never have thunk it. And Enriz says, if you take oral probiotics, usually kind of expensive, but they work, this can also help prevent yeast infections from starting. It can also help with the digestion and some prevention of constipation. Just my 2 cents. Good luck. Baby44us says, after my second child, I started getting frequent yeast infections. The doctor told me to put a teaspoon approximately of plain yogurt in your girly place. It would clear right up. Oddly, it works. Gross, but it works. And way cheaper than our over-the-counter meds. Okay, so maybe there's some, like, if actual doctors are saying that, of course, maybe that person's doctor is Cosmo. How to use apple cider vinegar for yeast infection cure. Oh man, Snopes.com. What does Snopes have to say about yeast infections in general, actually? Snopes.
Doors are closing, please stay clear of the doors.
Yeast infection home remedies. Oh, that's the Snopes message board. That doesn't count. Well, there's no actual Snopes things about that, so I guess I'll take a look. A number of home remedies are suggested for yeast infections on the internet, and I'm wondering if any of them have any merit. Eating yogurt, probably the most widespread suggestion, but how would that help? How would the helpful bacteria around your digestive system end up in your vagina when it's needed? Applying yogurt to the affected area. A bit more realistic, but wouldn't the sugars in yogurt encourage yeast growth also? Yeah, just don't get sweetened sugar, dude or lady. Sticking a clove of garlic up there, no clue. Using a couple drops of tea tree oil on a tampon. Oh, that works on cats too for getting rid of fleas. Supposedly how they cure yeast infections in Europe. Yeah, they do a lot of weird shit in Europe, lady. Using apple cider vinegar on the affected area. Seems this wound would kill the good bacteria as well as the bad. Also, wouldn't this sting a bit? Drinking buttermilk every day. Know how this is supposed to work at all. Plain yogurt shouldn't have much sugar in it, says Thistle Software. Oh, this is a programmer talking. Yeah, so take that with a grain of salt. It's a really bad idea to use a tampon if you aren't on your period, even if it has tea tree oil on it. The preventative measure I've heard works well is to keep your genitals clean and dry and avoid wearing tight synthetic fiber pants and underwear. I've also heard that eating less sugar is good for not just preventing yeast infections but also UTIs. Don't know if that's true. TMI, 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 TMI. Okay, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of those. I've tried the clove of garlic thing on the beginning stage of yeast infection and it worked. Your mileage may vary. Yeast infection, I'm told, or a pH problem. I believe that eating the yogurt does something in your pH. Makes it more acidic. I don't remember which way that is to make your body less attractive for the little yeasties. Oh, it's so tiny little yeasties. They're so tiny, so cute. The same thing would go for drinking buttermilk. If you applied yogurt to the affected area, it would probably be plain live cultured yogurt, so there would not be plenty of acid and not much sugar. Same thing would apply with applying vinegar to the area. I've heard taking cranberry supplements helps with urinary tract and vaginal health. The only thing I can think of for the garlic clove is that sulfur compounds don't get along with yeast. I don't know how the trucial works, if it's acidic or what. I think that would be stuck in the tamp do much good. This is my stop, so that's the end of this episode. I hope this has been an informative podcast for all of you, and I will talk to you more next week. The end, and they all lived happily ever after.